We have animes about sumo. We have animes about playing Go. What's the next step for Japanese sports anime? What about just slapping a card like it owes you money? Hi, I'm the person who doesn't know anything about Chihayafuru Annie.
And I'm Minty. I know about this anime and Hinomaru Sumo, but I wouldn't do an episode on that one. That one's a little lackluster.
But we did do Hikari no Go. Check it out on FunUntitled, the podcast where we serve every episode with an FU.
So, Chihayafuru is, let's start off with like a non-spoiler summary. It's basically about, it's a shoujo anime, and the protagonist's name is Chihaya. She plays Karuta, which is a Japanese card-playing game where there are 100 poems split into the reading half and the playing half. Reading half gets read, then you have to hit the playing half. You keep doing it until all the cards on your side is gone.
Now, just to get this clear, this is a shoujo romance novel. That means you have one plain girl falling for a really hot guy who's skillful. Not to get confused with shonen romance novels like Komi Can't Communicate or Dress Up Darling, where you have a plain guy who's in love with a really hot girl.
To be fair though, in Chihayafuru, she's a hot girl, and her two love interests, one's a hot guy and one's like above average.
Oh, another thing to be fair in Chihayafuru is that they have exactly 2 attractive characters and everyone else was drawn in a minute.
It is very disjarring to be like, God damn, the world is unfair sometimes.
Alright, before we get into spoilers, what are the pros of Chihayafuru?
Because this is like a Karuta sports playing manga, it's kind of like everything else. It's like, and because it's shoujo, it's like, it's romantic, it is funny, but it's also like about sportsmanship, camaraderie. It's a real feel-good series. And then what I love about this is that, like, I love about any sports series that does it well anyways, is that like, it kind of teaches you this sport, but also teaches you like the nuances and the different ways you can see this. Like, now you're seeing something that's more interesting than you would have thought it would have been.
Alright, now let's get into the spoilers, which Minty has told me many times. It's just like Doki Doki Literature Club. You have to experience it. You can't let anyone tell you what happens.
Or just do what I did. Watch 3 Let's Players do it, and you get the full story.
I mean, spoiler warning now, right?
Yeah, so let's open up with the opening scene, which is like the elementary school when she's like 10 years old. She meets the transfer student Arata, who already had a passion for Karuta.
What's the main character's name?
Chihaya.
Okay.
I've said this, pretty sure. And then, like, she has a childhood friend who really likes her, and he's really good looking, and his name is Taichi. But the whole point of doing, like, this flashback is basically you get to see how she becomes someone who had a passion to have her sister become, like, supermodel, idol, actor kind of person, to, like, now she has her own dream to become queen of Karuta, because the whole thing is, like, nobody else in Japan plays Karuta, so if you're, like, the best in Japan, then you're basically best in the world, which I think is kind of cool to say.
Now, I watched glimpses of Chihayafuru because Minty binged the series, so I actually saw this one part, and I was sitting there thinking to myself, God's that stupid.
Screw you.
Because it's basically like, oh, of course I'm the best in the world if you lower the population of the people who play it and, you know, to be a small amount.
What did he say that was wrong,
Nothing he said was wrong. It just gave me Fate Stay vibes of, if you kill people, they die.
You know what? I don't need to explain this to you. I don't need to explain it to the audience. They'll think it's cool. They'll know it's cool.
Yeah, you know what, audience? You either watch Chihayafuru or you're not supposed to be listening right now.
So it also establishes a scene of like the 3 of them playing Karuta together, and then they play like a little like team event as children, and like she's just having a lot of fun with these 2 boys. But unfortunately, like I think like to the end of elementary, and they didn't know each other that long. Well, not Arata anyways, because he's like a transfer student. Arata ends up going from Tokyo, which is where the story takes place now, back to his hometown Fukui, and then Taichi goes to a different middle school that's more prestigious. So just kind of the elementary school scene, the beginning of this anime starts that Chihaya has a dream that it's Karuta. She has this loving memory of like her 2 best friends, and it kind of disappeared.
So Karuta is basically like, in ways that people can understand, it's like if the reader says roses are red, you hit the card that says violets are blue, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of gives me vibes of the game Speed in America, where you have to like really slam down the cards, or maybe more accurately like Egyptian War.
Oh yeah. Man, we haven't played that game in a long time.
That's because you need friends to play that game. anime.
I would say it's definitely more like Egyptian war because there are, like I said, there are 100 poems. Each player gets 25 on their side, and the goal is to get rid of all your cards. But that means that there are 50 cards not in play, and they are called ghost or dead cards. So if you heal one of those, you can't hit any cards, and if you do, then you get a fault.
Are these poems important in some way?
I don't know enough about Japanese history to know the big importance, but I believe it's some kind of emperor. He chose like the best 100 poems and made it to an anthology, and then somebody took that anthology and made it into a game.
It's like Aladdin.
It's like anime playing cards.
Oh, could you imagine Karufuta, but like the reader shows like boobs and you have to hit the matching butt?
That's gross, but I get it. You gotta be a real big perv.
Oh, matching bikinis!
Oh, okay, sure. I was assuming naked people.
Okay, but in Karuta, you can arrange the cards how you want it, right?
Yeah, so that's
So
why...
mine could be as big as the smallest.
No, you wouldn't do that obvious. Then your opponent would know what you're doing. Gotta find a big boobied one.
Oh, you don't want your opponent to know?
You just don't want it easy for them to know what you're doing, because then they would find your cards easily. Because it does start off with a 15-minute memorization.
Can they hit my card?
They have to hit your cards.
Oh my god! Oh, so I have half of it and they have the other half?
You have 25, they have 25, there are 50 dead ones.
Okay, gotcha.
Well, I should explain this like outside the spoiler part. Let your friends know that there's a part in the spoiler part where we explain the game a little bit more.
Spoiling like the game mechanics, okay?
To be fair, they did not really teach it inside the anime. Maybe they do better in the manga. But in the anime, you're on your own. You gotta go watch an outside video. So, we set the scene of the elementary school, and it's kind of what Chihaya is working towards throughout this whole series. It's just kind of going back to this elementary school moment. Being with her best friends, playing Karuta.
That's such a big Japanese theme.
Sure, yeah, just...
Because the show Erased is like the biggest example of just people wanting to go back in time and reliving their youth. So is Tokyo Revengers to a certain point.
I guess so. I mean, it's like the Freudian wanting to go back in the mother kind of thing.
No. Okay, so they're in high school now.
So they're in high school, and she's like, I'm gonna start a Karuta team, and I'm gonna make more Karuta
Because
friends.
we have an epidemic in Japan, sweeping Japan, of no one has a sports club that they want to join in this school. We always have to build it from the ground up.
To be fair, there is a lot of sports animes that's like, we need a club of 5 members, and this is one of them. You know, Maru Sumo does it. He finds 5 people to play sumo with. He does have one person who already did sumo with before he started the club. And what's that? Mob Psycho?
Mob Psycho, when they needed another member for the Supernatural Club, and he said, "Psych, join the Body Improvement Club."
Was he gonna be a 5th member? Because I only remember 3 people in the Superstition Club.
Hey, I think they just needed 4.
Okay.
I mean, depending on the high school, 5 or 4, right?
Yeah, I do think that's kind of cute that they still let them use the room. Because they're like, we don't spend time in here, we just need storage. And they just want to play video games.
In Jujutsu Kaisen, they only need 3 members for the Going Home Club.
I don't know if the Going Home Club is an actual club.
Remember when you gonna say, I forget what his name, Yuji was a slacker?
Oh, he was taking care of his grandpa, so it wasn't really a slacker. I don't know what happened to his parents. I think it was implied his mom died, but I don't remember what happened to his dad.
I'll be his daddy. Moving back on with Chihayafuru.
Whose fault is that?
Anime Jesus.
Annie doesn't think they have ADHD, but I feel like we have hours and hours of recordings of how much
Moving
Annie has
on,
ADHD.
she's in high school. She wants to start a club.
Taichi's back. And she's like, holy crap, you're back. And she's like, we should start the Karuta Club. And he's like, hell no, I've moved on to other things.
Said the man who went to a shitty high school just to be with the girl he likes.
Yeah, you know, I have no idea how he went from prestigious middle school to the same as Chihaya. Because at one point in the series, Chihaya's like, oh, I'm 5th from the bottom. I'm like, what the fuck, girl? Get your shit together. You're not like a delinquent. You can study. She's really only into Karuta. Sounds like a certain other Asian girl I know.
Another flat Asian. Looks in the distance.
So Taichi has moved on. I don't know what he's moved on to, but he's moved on. And Chihaya's like, well, I don't know if I can tell you what to do, but I really want you to do this. So, what she does is that she goes to a tournament and she wins it and becomes class A. And Taichi, being the simp that he is,
He saw her stick that butt out every time she slapped the card.
you know what? Not like that. They're in like proper Japanese posing. Kind of like as if they're bowing, but not really. Maybe they are. But anyway, he's watching her win and he's like, holy shit, she's still into this stupid card game. And when she wins, she gets to become class A, which is basically she's like in the top tier of Karuta players. And she opens the window and she's like, Taichi, I won. I'm class A. Because he did not have any faith that she could become class A. You're starting the club with me. And he, as the ultimate simp, said, alright, I'll start the Karuta club with you. And that's member number 2.
Which just just kind of weird because this is weird to me as someone who hasn't read the series. Chihaya's like, oh, I shouldn't live my sister's dream of her wanting to be a model. I should live my own dream. And then goes around and be like, hey, Taichi, help me live my dream.
I do think it's a little weird, but also, is Taichi's dream not just to be a Chihaya?
You know what? You got me there, son. You got me there.
He's working towards his dream, but there's also like scenes later on where he realizes like within Karuta he does things for Chihaya, but he should be doing things for him.
Oh, that's a nice theme then.
It is nice, yeah, and like he needs to improve himself, and right now he's in class B, and I'm like, wait a second, you weren't into Karuta this whole time, but you're in class B? It's pretty high to get to, you know?
So was she doing karate the whole time in middle school?
You know, actually no. In middle school she was doing track and field, but she was doing it for Karuta because she wanted to like improve her stamina, improve her speed, and then she just liked the whistle that makes you go for track and field because she feels like that's the starting whistle for Karuta.
I would love to see her use her legs to get better at karate.
I mean, she chases down a lot of people.
Yeah, you know what?
Let's talk about the 3 people she chased down to join her club.
Good segue.
Thank you. So, versus Kanade, she is the daughter of a kimono shop owner, and she loves Karuta for the poems because she's really into Japanese cultures. What I love about this scene is that, like, Kanade teaches Chihaya the importance and the imagery and the symbolism of the poems. That way, Chihaya has another tool under her belt of how to play Karuta better, because she's actually pretty bad at memorization. She's all about speed and reflexes, but after a while, having this tool, there's one card that's really important to her. It's called the Chihayafuru card, and now she sees that card red.
Are you telling me this bench was accidentally named after karate cards?
Technically, I guess, but I'm not exactly sure.
No, that's my narrative now. I write the story now. Hey, Arthur, I know you got knack for plagiarism, so I'm taking your story now.
Oh my god. No, it's almost over. Can't take this from them.
I mean, it's almost over. That means I can write the ending.
No!
I just gotta make a polycule and then you'll be happy.
Oh wow, I mean, I do like the polycule. Then her second, I guess 4th member is Tsutomu. He's like this nerd who's number 2 and he loves to study. And what he brings in is that he kind of like embeds it into Chihaya that like you do have to memorize the cards. That is an important thing, which is actually Taichi's specialty, is that he can remember the cards pretty well. And then the last member is, his name is Porky. I think his real name is like Nishida, which is a pretty plain Japanese name, so we call him Porky.
Man, body shame the boy, won't you?
Wow. I mean, I didn't pick his name.
I only accept Porky as a name if he stutters his words.
Oh my god. And changes it to something simpler?
Yes.
No, but Porky, he's the one who's been playing Karuta the longest. He just kind of stopped playing because he lost to Arata as children. But then he was like, okay, I'm gonna be good at tennis. And he was good. But he had a love and passion for Karuta, so that's why he joined the Karuta team.
You can't be a professional karate, right? It's not like Go.
Unfortunately, it's not like Hikaru becoming the professional Go player and going for the Meijin title. I mean, there's a Meijin and Queen title, but that's only the 2, and you don't really get money for doing it. However, they do mention that, like, if you do really well in some of the tournaments, I can't remember if it's like the high school tournaments or like the national tournaments or whatever tournaments, but if you do really well, you're supposedly be able to go into like any university you wanted to go to. And when I say really well, I mean like finalists or semi-finalists.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, in Japan, of course, we're going for that scholarship.
I mean, I guess it's because it's about like history, culture, things that Japan really values in their students and in their like citizens, right?
What would Chihaya major in?
They kind of mention in season 2 what she wants to do, but I'm not gonna spoil it there since we're only in season 1, so you just have to wait for season 2. Season 2 has some amazing fucking scenes that I really want to talk about, but I won't.
Okay, so we'll just say for now she's gonna take the Johto route and become a marine biologist.
She's gonna study the dolphin.
So she gets a little team of 5.
Now that she has a team of 5, she can enter the high school team tournament. I think what I love about this is that like they always introduce Karuta as like 1 versus 1. So when you're in this team tournament, it's basically a team of 5 fighting another team of 5, and the best of 3 gets to move on. And it's like, well, how do you become a team? Because it's still 1-on-1. But by watching other people play, they learn what it means to be a team and how to like bring each other up and how to support each other. It's very cute. There's this part where like Tsutomu, he didn't want to play, but they said, okay, sit it out and take a break. And he realized like him not playing hindered his team, so he got very sad. And I was like, oh, Tsutomu, because part of why he joined the Karuta team was because he didn't have friends, but joining this, he could like get really good at memorization and make friends. So they win the tournament, and it's so cute because they beat the best karate team, and then they get to join, or they get to represent Tokyo for the nationals team. And there's like a little news article about them winning, and it's called like Handsome and Hakumas. Because Kanade is a Japanese history culture buff and the daughter of a kimono store owner, she forced everyone to wear a hakama, and it's so pretty.
For one of them.
Okay, Chihaya gets like the most ornate, beautiful design hakama. The girls get, they're patterned, but they're like small, tiny flowers. And the boys just get plain colors, and they're just literally says orange, green, or blue, and they just switch around those colors. I'm like, what the fuck?
They rent this, right?
Yes, they
Okay.
don't buy it. I think they just rent it from, I guess, Kanade's mom's store. They win the high school tournament. They get to go to nationals. There's a newspaper article about them. Chihaya is super excited to share this with her family, but it gets overshined with like her sister, who again was trying to be an idol, pop star, actor, and she's like, I'm on TV, let's watch me on TV. And they do, and they just kind of ignore Chihaya, and that makes Chihaya incredibly sad. And it's like, whoa. And so she just has to like, you know what, I don't know, I guess I gotta just do my own thing. And when she tried to go find the newspaper article again, she couldn't find it. And where she does find it is that her parents has started their own little scrapbook for her. So they already had like 7 of them for her sister, and it had like the newspaper article. It had something else, but I can't remember what it was. And I just thought it was super cute because I think Chihaya getting acknowledged for being good at this sport is very important to her as well. And it's important for anyone to be recognized when you're good and passionate about something.
I like to just point out that means Chihaya didn't win a single track and field tournament.
You know, maybe. Which is weird because I think they did say that she was good enough to go into nationals. And
Oh, maybe she just wasn't passionate in it, so like they saw her be like, hey, didn't you have to go some of a track and field? Like, and so she has a trophy behind her.
She's like, slapping cards. I was like, I'll do it next year if I really give a shit.
The fans like, okay, I guess that's not going in the scrapbook.
So now they're in the nationals tournament, and they do the teams tournament first. Unfortunately, for whatever reason that the story decided to do this, Chihaya gets sick in the first round, and she couldn't participate, and basically her team loses, I think like in the second or third round. But here's the thing, when she got sick, Taichi had to like carry her out, and who was there to take care of her?
Don't ask me, I'm just thinking about the Jesus in the sand story now.
The Jesus and the what?
The sand, you know, like, oh Jesus, why was there only
Oh,
one
God.
different? No, who was it?
It was Arata. Okay, let's rewind a bit. I forgot to mention.
It's okay, it
What
seems like in the anime they go back in time a lot too.
You know what? It was just the one time for the elementary, technically. So, when Chihaya became Class A, the first thing she did besides start a club with Taichi was let Arata know that she has become Class A. But when she calls Arata, he says, don't call me ever again. So what does she do? She and Taichi go all the way to Fukui, which I guess is like the countryside of Japan, to go see him and figure out what the hell happened. But he won't explain it to them. He just says, get the hell out. What they learned from a neighbor of Arata's is that Arata's grandfather, who was a Meijin master of karate, died. He was getting very sick. That's why Arata had to leave Tokyo and go back to Fukui. He started getting like dementia and a lot of strokes. And while on Arata's care, he died. And I think Arata blames himself because Arata left his grandfather to go to a karate tournament. Not because he was a dick and hated his grandpa. He loved his grandpa. But the grandpa at one point had this clarity of like, what the hell are you doing home? You're supposed to be at a karate tournament. And Arata just found out like the approval to go, so he left. And he did win it and become Class A, I believe. But his grandpa died in his watch though, so he just felt guilty and he just didn't play for a year and a half.
Got every poem.
Well, they do talk about how the consequences of that, which I really like that they did. They didn't just like, oh, he came back and was back as a master. He's still back pretty good, but he had lost several times, which I think is probably also to like explain, oh, they'll probably like meet up in nationals like in their 3rd year.
Cause he's really good, right? Like when he slaps a card, it like slams into the wall, right?
Like a shuriken. It's a very impactful moment when you're first watching this series and like, what the fuck?
So Arata is, now he's back taking care of his girl, Chihaya.
It's so cute. It's like their little reunion. I guess a happier reunion.
Cause last time they met, he was just like, go away, I'm not gonna explain shit to you.
Yeah, and then when they left him, they didn't know what was gonna become of him. Even to this point, they're still not very sure what he's doing. But Arata takes care of her for a little bit and then he leaves.
That's all he does in this story. He takes care of sick people.
Grandpa, girlfriend,
Maybe future boyfriend, Taichi?
future family. They lost the national team tournament. What they don't tell you for in the season until it starts is that there's a national individual team right after that. And it's like, okay, so I guess they get to keep playing. In the second round of the national individual tournament, Chihaya is in the class A and she goes up against the current reigning queen of Karuta, who is a 16-year-old girl named Shinobu. And she is like super good. She's accurate. She's not faster than Chihaya, but she knows exactly where she wants to go and how to avoid the opponent's hands. Because you can technically guard your cards, but Shinobu is like a master stealth of like being able to grab the card. And she's, from what Chihaya says, she's silent and she moves with no extra movements. You know, like any martial arts, right?
No. Just like K and Y Shinobu.
That's right. She stabs you with a needle and hopes that you die of poison. You know there are other people named Shinobu other than
Nope.
Demon Slayers.
Move on about how Chihaya lost against my girl Shinobu Kocho.
I do think you'd actually like this Shinobu. I don't know why. She's not like the personality you'd go for, but she's very strange. Not like weird strange, but she's just like a little socially does her own thing kind of strange. Little childish, but like very skillful and very graceful, even though she doesn't have the most graceful appearance. So because they had lost the tournaments, they come home and they're like, all right, time to start training for next year. And they're like, yeah.
We're going the Haikyuu route.
Well, I mean, any sport thing is about training for next year, doing better, forget about school. So now they just start playing like regular individual tournaments because these tournaments are important because you have to win them or at least become like a finalist so that way you can move up in your classes. There's this one that I really like where like they join an individual tournament. Chihaya loses immediately because she's trying new things now. She's trying not necessarily to be fast, but now she's trying to do like memorization and accuracy, and it's kind of slowing her down. But she's already class A, and I don't think you can go down a class because I don't think I've ever heard of any martial arts where you can go down classes.
Which sucks because I guarantee you as someone with no muscle memory, you can get suckier.
You can, and they kind of addressed that a little bit in Hikaru no Go. But because she lost in the first round, this gave her a chance to watch her teammates play as the finalists in their respective classes. By watching them play, she kind of gets a feel of like other play styles. Because the only other play style she's seen are the people in the Karuta Society Club that she joined as an elementary school student. And so now she's watching like Kanade, she like never makes a mistake. Tsutomu, he's kind of been counting like how fast and accurate people hit the cards in like 4 quadrants and knows like which one's his strong point and which one's his weak point. Porky and Taichi are fighting each other. That one is kind of sad because it literally ended up with each of them having 1 card on each of their sides, and it was basically up to fate whose card was going to be read first. And so Kanade beat Tsutomu, although because Tsutomu was a finalist, they were both able to move up a class. Porky beat Taichi, so he got to move up to class A, and then Taichi stayed in class B. It's very sad because then it moves on to like another tournament, although this one only Taichi went because Taichi, it was like far away and Taichi was the only one who had money to go. Because again, Taichi is a handsome, rich, intelligent sports boy
who is not gonna get the girl.
I know. I believe that the series is clearly obvious that Chihaya and Arata would get together because they both love Karuta, and when they think of Karuta, they think of each other.
No, that's hetero. Oh, they named their babies after the cards.
Oh god, I hope not.
They're gonna have 50 babies.
Well, they would have to have 100 for each card.
Well, first name, middle name.
Okay.
And then Taichi will supply it because he's a simp still.
Yeah. God, I hope not. What I like about like them showing Taichi joining this other tournament was that like he joined and who else joined? Arata joined. So now it's very obvious that Arata has come back to Karuta. Unfortunately, Taichi didn't win his, so he never had a chance to go up against Arata. And in Karuta, so like I said, Chihaya played in her society, right? And the society had a master, and Taichi also joined that same society. Taichi lost as a semi-finalist, or what, you know, he just didn't win. So the leader of his society said, I'll give you a chance to become class A because technically you were a finalist in 2 tournaments. So that means you are qualified to become class A, even though I have a strict rule that you have to win one to become class A. And Taichi was like, no, I'm gonna win one day and then I'll be class A. And it's just very cute because like, you know, he wants to be class A because he wants to be with Chihaya and Arata. He wants to like stand proud and show like, hey, his club and school is new to Karuta, but like they have strong players, but he chose to like stay in class B and like work to be class A. Which also still sucks because again, he lost the first one because of luck and chance.
If he was Jozu, it wouldn't have to come down to luck.
Well, I guess so. Like if he was really good, then
You could just obliterate Porky.
yeah. Like I mean, I guess you could see it like that too.
I see it.
And I think the last last tournament of like this school year, I guess you could call it, is the Queen and Meijin qualifiers. Chihaya beats this little girl, her name is Ririka, and they call her like a mini Shinobu, like she's super good and she's super fast, but Chihaya beats her. I just like to mention this part because like it talks about how like Ririka's mom really encouraged her to do karata and was like, you know what, I just like that my little girl has a passion for something. It doesn't matter what it is as long as she likes doing something.
It was really fucked up when I watched that high school beat her though. Like,
That was also sad because people were like, oh, I guess she's not as good as people say she is. And it's like, hello, she's like elementary school. And she like held her own against a high schooler.
hey, karata's a sport. Doesn't matter the age, doesn't matter the skill level. You can play it.
Oh, were you there for that part?
I was there. That was so dumb. Like, yeah, I could play baseball. I wouldn't be good at it.
No, what they were saying is that like it's like basically a co-ed tournament where you get to go up against anyone.
Oh, okay.
That's why it doesn't matter your age, your gender.
Oh, I feel like I'm there for all the stupid monologues.
Nah, well, maybe you are at this point. But in the end, Chihaya loses the Queen qualifier to the former Queens. She and the team gets to watch the Queen qualifier and the Meijin qualifier matches at Taichi's house, and it basically kind of reignites all of their passion to try to do better at karata. And it's interesting, they say that Chihaya style of playing is closer to the current Meijin style of playing. And like the current Meijin is like some college student who's like playing so much karata that he's repeating college. Apparently it's a no-no in Japan.
Yeah, it's a no. Of course, it's a no-no in Japan.
It's kind of a no-no in America, but it's kind of like, hey, back off. But so,
Oh, that means he's dumb, just like Chihaya.
you know, he might be. I mean, he's in college. That means something. I have no idea Chihaya's going
Because
to college.
he got that sweet scholarship that we mentioned before.
You know, he probably did, honestly.
So we're watching a bunch of girls slap each other. Can you slap each other's hands? Like, if I see you reaching for my card, I go no.
No, you can't do that like a bad dog. But you can slam your hand on your own card, and that basically counts as like you touching it and getting the card.
I was like, bop it.
In one sense, but oh yeah, you know what? Yeah. 'Cause if you hit the wrong thing, then you get faulted. So Chihaya learns that she can sense the cards, which basically means that like once the first syllable is read, she knows what the rest of the poem is gonna be and knows which card that she has to hit. And Kanade learns that she wants to become a Class A reader. And for her to become a Class A reader of Karata poem cards, she has to be a Class A player. And I think she also needs like 5 years of experience reading cards. So Kanade's kind of got a big goal ahead of her. But her dream is to hopefully be the reader for Chihaya's Queen qualifier match. Is that cute? That'd be super cute. Also, because it's the end of the first year and nobody likes Karata, they have to get 5 new members in the second year. Otherwise, lose the clubhouse.
Bum, bum, bum.
Anyways, that's basically the end of season 1 for Chihayafuru. It's very cute. It's about teamwork. It's about making yourself better for your passion and goal. And just like, I guess, learning about Japanese culture.
And with that, we've gone on too long, so we'll see you in season 2 of Slapping Cards So Hard.
Chihayafuru!